The book of Genesis, it's huge, right? The very first book of the Bible, this massive, sweeping story of beginnings. So where do you even start with something so epic? Well, it turns out there's a surprisingly simple key to unlocking the whole thing, and it's all about its structure. It's so simple, it's brilliant. The entire book is neatly broken down into two main parts. But here's the thing, they aren't separate stories. They're two halves of one single unified narrative. And if you can grasp this simple split, well, that changes everything. It's the blueprint for the entire book. All right, so let's dive into that. Before we even get to what Genesis means, we've got to look at how it was put together. Because, and this is the main takeaway today, in the book of Genesis, the structure is the story. Okay, so check this out. This is the whole thing in a nutshell. On one side, you've got part 1, the primeval history, covering chapters 1 through 11. Think of this as the big, wide-angle lens. We're talking about the entire world, all of humanity. It's universal. But then, bam, right in the middle, the camera does this crazy zoom-in. Part 2, the patriarchal history, shifts the focus entirely to just one family. This move from everyone to someone is absolutely the most important thing to get about Genesis. So let's take a closer look at that first half. We're talking chapters 1 through 11, what's known as the primeval history. And primeval history pretty much means what it sounds like, right? These are the stories from the very dawn of time. This is where you get all those famous epic tales, the 7 days of creation, Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, Noah and the flood, the Tower of Babel. All of them are about humanity as a whole, about our origins, and, where things started to go wrong for everybody. So you have these huge stories that are about every person on the planet. And then the book just pivots. It drops that wide-angle lens and zooms in hard on one single guy and his family. The big question is, why? Why the massive change in focus? And that question is exactly what brings us to the second half of the book. And here we are, part 2, the patriarchal history. This is the rest of the book, running from chapter 12 all the way to chapter 50. So yeah, it's by far the bigger section. And this is where the story gets really, really personal. We're not talking about all of humanity anymore. Now we're following one single family tree. This is where we meet Abraham, then his son Isaac, and his grandson Jacob, the patriarchs. Suddenly, the whole epic story of the world is being told through the lives, the struggles, and the journeys of this one particular family. Okay, so we've seen the two parts, but why? Why does this structure matter so much? Why build the book this way? Well, it's because this design isn't just a neat way to organize the stories. It actually reveals the main message of the entire book. It really boils down to this. Genesis tells a story that moves from the universal down to the particular. You can almost think of it like an hourglass. It starts wide, with the history and the problems of the whole world. Then it narrows its focus way down to this one single family line. The reason? The book is making a huge claim. That God's plan to rescue and bless the entire world is going to happen through this one specific family. The universal problem finds its answer in a very particular story. It's incredible. Like we said, the structure is the message. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. What does this very intentional design, this journey from the problems of the whole world down to the story of one family, really tell us about what Genesis is ultimately all about? It kind of suggests that the answer for everyone might just be found in the story of someone. A pretty powerful idea to leave you with.